Anchorage, Alaska. I've loved fitness my whole life. Working out is one of my favorite things to do. Growing up in Alaska, you definitely kind of get that adventurous, independent spirit. So I had a couple huge things that influenced me growing up to where I'm at now with weightlifting and training. And I can think of several individuals. One is a lady by the name of Susan Cantwell Long. She was my basketball coach and happened to be my best friend's mom. And I met her in second grade and still know her today. And she is an intense, passionate, godly woman who is just a power to be reckoned with when she steps in the room. And she really instilled a lot of drive and determination when it comes to goals in life, and that you can't just want a goal to happen, you have to do something to make it happen. Second person that had a huge impact is her name's Yvette Sanders, and I met her kind of mid-high school years, and she was the first woman I ever knew who lifted weights and was an older woman. I didn't really know women lifted weights before that, and our school, it was smaller, so we didn't have a weight room, and she took me and a couple friends to my basketball coach's house, and in the mornings before school, we'd lift weights, and she taught me everything, and that's when we kind of broke it down by body part. And I hated getting up that early, but I loved the weight training. And then finally, Shannon Black, and Shannon I met kind of in an unfortunate way. It was mid-season, my senior year of basketball, and during a pretty big game, I blew out my knee, and I had to have pretty big ACL and meniscal surgery. It ended my dream of going to state that year as a senior. So it was the first time that I really dealt with something pretty hard in my life. And Shannon gave me hope. I joined the military because it was something that was new and exciting, and it was definitely, I knew it was going to be out of my comfort zone. It just seemed like a good idea, and it was a little random. My mom kind of freaked out my senior year when I was like, I'm gonna do this. In the military, had some pretty awesome experiences. I went to Haiti in 2010, and that was right after the earthquake in January, and that was fast and furious. I had obviously no plan of deploying at that point in my life, and I didn't know. So I was in the hospital working with a soldier one morning, and I was asked, hey, are your bags packed? And I was like, for what? And they were like, we're going to Haiti. Did physical therapy there for the soldiers and the Haitians. And so you're working with people sometimes that you didn't even speak their language, you didn't have an interpreter, and you're teaching them how to use crutches, how to help them move, just all the basics. And then with soldiers, trying to keep them healthy so we didn't have to send soldiers home. And so you're working with very limited resources. I mean, I had a tent and a folding table, and it was like, have at it, what can you do? After Haiti, I went back to the States for a few months, and then in 2011, I deployed to Iraq, kind of during the drawdown, and that was a whole different realm of a deployment because it's a combat zone, so it was very gear intensive. You got a lot of body armor on, your ruck, your weapons. I mean, I had a handgun and a rifle. It was pretty intense, and just the same kind of things there. I worked with keeping soldiers as healthy as they could be so they could stay and fight, and I would travel around to some of the different bases throughout Iraq and do that. So we'd be loading up into the Black Hawk and flying. Something else that I got to do was go to airborne school, the Army's parachute school, and that was a huge personal physical challenge because you are jumping out of airplanes, but aside from that, there's physical training every day. Just to eat at the dining facility, to walk into it, you had to do 10 pull-ups. And then to leave the dining facility, you had to do 10 pull-ups. So if you put eating 3 times a day, that just is 60 pull-ups just to eat your meals. And then we'd run every morning, and they'd be fast runs. And if you fell out, you were kicked out of the school. So, I mean, we started with maybe 45 women, and there was like 6 or 7 of us that graduated. So it was pretty intense. I really want to be on the Get Phat staff because I've always wanted to train women. And I got to do some of that in the military and with physical therapy, really not to the extent I want. Like I'll rehab and I'm getting right to the point where they're like ready to go, like with my bodybuilders or marathoners, and then it's like, and now someone else is taking over. I love eating clean and working out, and just feel like I have a good appeal for that, like average working woman or the injured athlete, the female soldier, like kind of a lot of different like community groups of peoples that I can target and reach because of some of my own experiences.
There's a fire in our hearts and it burns for you. It's never gonna fade away.